Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Fear the Queer.
A show that talks about everything on our queer agendas. I'm Kyle.
And I'm Josh, and apparently it is Hawaiian Day at school today, ladies.
Oh, I know. I'm kind of giving this like abstract, like green, like feeling like it's kind of like a watercolor
Yeah.
moment. It's like a suggestion of a Hawaiian shirt.
An echo, a memory.
Yeah, a whisper.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, on our queer agenda today, we already talked about the best supporting actresses. We already talked about the best actresses. We're not going to do the best actors because let's face it, who cares?
Men are
We're going to
boring.
Men are boring. We're going to go straight to best pictures of the past 10 years at the Academy Awards. Give our hot takes, rank them, add a timer. You know the drill. If you haven't, this all makes no sense to you.
If you haven't, then you need to go back and you need to listen or watch the past two episodes. We're
See?
kind of like in an Oscars phase right now. I feel like we went from our March Madness vibes, and now we're just kind of like, we just really like the Oscars, and it's kind of leading into it. So like,
Right.
we have a lot to say. We have a lot of things on our queer agenda.
We do. Another thing too is that it's sort of like an easy way to plug being like, check out our past episodes. If you don't know what you're talking about here, you're only getting half the story here.
You're revealing all of our secrets. Now
Right?
everyone's gonna be like, it's all just a marketing scheme. Look at these PR stunts. I don't have a PR team. I do kind of have an assistant. I kind of
Oh.
have a manager. Yeah. My friend Brandon, who's staying with me, sets up, the ring light and the microphone and all this other stuff. Even have my I'm gonna plug it, my soda stream drink.
See?
Before and my notes all before my episode.
Did they write the notes for you?
Uh no.
No.
They didn't. It's all my own opinion, and no one wrote the notes for me.
And
That
Brandon is a beautiful and lovely.
Brandon is. I'll read my notes. Brandon is a beautiful, lovely assistant. I should be paying Brandon and not just buying Brandon matcha. What is? I don't. Well, okay, so the notes are a little bit skewed, but
Yeah.
I'm happy to be all set up and ready to really get into the best pictures today, because I feel like
Yes.
we wouldn't have the Oscars if it wasn't for the best pictures.
The best
But
pictures, darling.
before we get into that, Josh, what are you drinking today?
Well, it's funny because we were talking in our previous episodes about adult approved products. You
Mm-hmm.
were talking so much about a soda stream and how much you really like it. And so I decided to drink a LaCroix today.
Oh, oh! I thought you were going to say I also got a soda stream, and I was like,
No,
gag, my influence.
I know. I saw your eyes light up, and I was just like, ooh, I think I got her.
Mm-hmm. Nope. The eyes lighting up. That's just an effect on my computer. No,
Mm.
I'm the Terminator. Uh, well, I have a bottle freshly made of Soda Stream. This time, you want to know what flavor I'm doing this time?
What?
I am doing Black Cherry by Bubbly. That's Black Cherry by Bubbly
Isn't that
in
already
my
in a can?
Soda Stream. But why would I have a can when I have a Soda Stream?
Well, that's why I'm confused. Did you pour it out of the can?
Ooh. No. So how Soda Stream works actually is you have water that you that you put into the bottle first. Then you
Yeah.
put it in underneath your little soda container. You push a
Uh-huh.
button. I love pushing the button. You can choose 1, 2, or 3. How bubbly you want it. I always go 3. And then afterwards, then you add the flavor to it. The flavor comes in
Oh.
a little drop thing. So yeah, that's how you do it, and it's just
Oh.
delicious.
Listen
Ooh,
to that
the
fizzle.
bubbles. Oh my gosh. Oh,
Oh.
oh my god. Oh,
Little bubbly ASMR today.
I love this drink. Cheers, queers.
Cheers, queers.
Cheers,
All right.
queers.
But before we get into the heart of our queer agenda today, we don't really have a segment that we're going to be bringing up here, but we do have an important topic to bring up to you guys here, and it is hashtag Stop Asian Hate. Now, as you all know, hate crimes against Asians have increased like tenfold since the pandemic start. Though that hatred had always been inside of these people, it definitely has spread thanks to misinformation, hateful rhetoric, and I'm just going to say it, the GOP. Let's be real
Say
here.
it. Say it loud.
Yeah,
Say it.
right. Um, you know, ever since the pandemic has started, reports of Asians, and of course, many of them are elderly, have been assaulted, robbed, even set on fire. Um, as we're recording it, today is March 24th here. So only a few days ago, on March 16th, 8 people, 6 of whom were Asian women, were murdered in Atlanta, Georgia, after the killer went on a shooting spree at 3 different spas. So if you don't know this already, I don't know what you've been doing for the past week and a half here.
Probably watching
Um,
Fox News.
Probably, yeah. It's watching it unfold has been really frustrating because there's so many things involved with people trying to say that it potentially couldn't be a hate crime, even though the killer had said that he targeted these people because it attacked his religious views because he was being sexually repressed. So regardless of this, in my opinion, it's a hate crime no matter what, whether it be a hate crime
Yeah.
against sex workers, Asian people, call it what it is. It's a hate crime. Um, so Kyle and I actually recently just went to a Stop Asian Hate protest, which Kyle, you actually are the one who showed me this, weren't you?
Yeah. I mean, like, we'll shout out to our Chicago Queens, Denali Fox and Kamara Hall for posting us in their Instagram stories, because that's how I found out about it. So good for using your platform of hundreds of thousands of followers to raise awareness.
Which just
And
goes to show that it works.
it does work, yeah, because I was like, I was off from work that day. We met up in Logan Square. It was a wonderfully organized rally. And it was a really good turnout. And the thing is that, like, I think and that happened within a matter of days.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine if it was given even more time. I mean, a matter of days since the shooting happened, but imagine kind of the turnout that could be for future protests when we have more people finding out when and where to show up and support.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the shooting, the person who did the shooting, I won't even say his name because it's not even worth giving him the airspace, really.
Right.
But I will say that using religion in defense of you weaponizing against marginalized communities it's complete bullshit. It's one of the reasons I get frustrated with organized religious people for the most part, because they end up weaponizing their religion against others.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, Obviously, that's not everybody. But to say that you're sexually repressed and that these Asian women were tempting you sexually in some way is complete bullshit and is still racist. Um, but you don't need me to tell you that. I think the writing's on the wall. You know what I mean?
Right.
But for those of you who are tuning into us, maybe you don't know. But it is racist, whether he
Is
said it's religious or not, because he says if he's saying that these Asian women were tempting him sexually, that's still racist, because it is equating that Asian women are just sex objects, which has been a huge issue as we know in our country and probably around the world, but we can
right.
only speak really for the US.
Right. Well, I mean, it just goes to show that harmful stereotypes, damaging viewpoints of Asians in
Mhm,
media
mhm.
clearly have an effect because, yeah, the fetishization of Asians have been a huge problem since like the dawn of cinema. We have, the dragon lady stereotype. We have people viewing Asians as like petite, small, but hypersexual and potentially dangerous human beings. Um, it goes into a never ending cycle, and it just kind of shows of like how everything just evolves off of it. So yeah, like Kyle and I said, we went to a protest in Logan Square past Saturday. It was a very lovely event. There's a lot of people who showed up. We even had spokespeople from the Black Lives Matter Chicago movement show up. We had a lot of lovely speakers. One of them was actually, I think, a 6 or 7 year old boy, if I recall correctly. Um, yeah.
I can't
Uh,
speak too much about that because I will start crying. I'm big enough to admit that when this little child started speaking, I full on my sunglasses I was wearing fogged up. I was crying. I could not stop.
mhm.
And then we were marching behind him and his mom, and he was leading the chants. I literally couldn't even get the words out because I was like quietly crying as we marched. But
Yeah,
it's like, how do we get to this point where children need to speak up and be like, stop killing us?
yeah.
Which is similar to the Black Lives Matter movement. Um,
Hmm.
it's just like any time that anyone says stop killing us, but especially when it comes to children, it always makes me just want to bawl. I can't handle it.
I also was about to cry. Like, don't get me wrong, it was a very beautiful slash sad moment.
Mhm.
Um, but at the same time, I was really grateful to show up to that protest because I was telling Kyle before this that I was actually a little apprehensive about the protest, and it has nothing to do with what the cause was. It's actually with the problems of my identity. We talked about this on the podcast before. I always have identified as queer before I identified as an Asian American because, as you all know, I grew up in a white adoptive household. And I never really had any ties to my Korean background. That being said, I haven't told you this. So I work at a hospital,
Mhm.
and the other day, a Korean woman and her son came in and they were trying to get some physical therapy. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, the mom couldn't really speak any English. Um, so she would talk to me in Korean, and the son would then interpret.
Mhm.
And I kept apologizing. I was just like, I'm so sorry. I wish I knew Korean. Like, I wish I could communicate better with you guys. Um, but then he started talking to me about like his story and his life. And he's like, well, what about you? Like, how come you don't know Korean if you don't mind me
Mhm.
asking? I was like, well, I was born in Korea, but I was adopted. I grew up in Iowa. I've only lived here for like 5 years.
Mhm.
And my family never taught me Korean growing up. He's just like, oh, well, stop apologizing. Stop being ashamed of that. Like, you don't have to
Mhm.
worry about that. Um, we still have your back. And like when he said that, I I almost started crying right then and there. I was just like,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. So it's just been a really nice emotional past couple days.
Yeah.
But the whole purpose of this is that we wanted to highlight some organizations and fundraisers that
Mhm.
you viewers slash listeners could either donate to, share in your Instagram stories, or just bring awareness to in case you ever want to participate in future rallies, organizations, and things like that yourself.
Yeah.
So, Kyle, I'll let you go first. What organization have you chose today?
Well, I chose the organization Heart of Dinner. It is a food-based group out of New York City. What they end up doing is they provide food and meals to elderly Asian seniors. I guess
Oh,
elderly
okay.
and seniors are kind of the same thing, but you know what I mean. Because like
elderly seniors.
well, because like I'm elderly, but I am not a senior, so elderly seniors.
Mm,
But there's a huge, I think, I don't know. For me, I feel like when you're giving to different organizations or donating your time and money, a lot of the time it'll be for like legal funds, or it will be for just giving to a bigger picture. So something that I really enjoy is when organizations are more focused on physical needs like food, clothing, toiletries, just like all these kind of essential things. Because I
mhm,
think that like community and love can be given out through those essential needs.
mhm.
Um, so if you're interested, go to Heart of Dinner. They have an Instagram, and I actually found out about them through the group that hosted the protest that we went to,
Oh,
which was Stop Asian Hate Chai. There's Stop Asian Hate Chai on Instagram. So if you're following us, you should be following them. There's updates, different organizations, different protests, different little news blips. And not to kind of like detract from that or bring it down, but I live in a predominantly Asian area in Chicago. I'm right next to Little Vietnam on the north side, and recently there was another hate crime that happened just the other day, where an elderly man was beaten just literally down the street from my house. So these are not isolated incidents. The Atlanta shooter is not an isolated moment.
No.
These things keep happening, and we have to watch out for each other and make sure that our communities are safe. So
So my organization that I would like to share with y'all today is #HateIsAVirus. So it's founded by Michelle Hanabusa, Tammy Cho, and Brian Pham. Originally, it was a movement to combat the xenophobia and racism against Asian Americans during COVID-19. And this was back in March of 2020 that they started it. But obviously now more than ever, they really want to step up to the plate and help the Asian community. They made a statement that they want to, one, raise awareness and stand in solidarity with communities beyond the Asian American community. Two, educate and equip our community with tactical strategies on how to respond to the hate and racism that is thrown to us. And three, raise money to provide relief to small Asian-led businesses that have been impacted by COVID-19. Because on top of all this, we're still in a fucking Pangea. So there's also that added stress on top of it. Their website is hateisavirus.org, or if you'd like to follow them on social media, their Facebook is facebook.com/hateisavirus, which really quickly, Facebook really failed on not picking up on handles. Like, I will just say that right then and there.
what do you mean handles?
like their Twitter handle is @hateisavirus_, and their Instagram is @hateisavirus. But the fact that I have to like shout out a URL for people to check it out is just
like www.
Yeah. But yeah, check them out. We are going to include all of these resources and links in our Instagram post. So, don't feel bad if you don't know how to type in a URL. And yeah, we think that it's very important. And also, if you happen to see us at one of these protests here, give us a shout out, I guess. Like, feel free to network
with us. Like come over, march with us. Because here's the thing. I think that and this isn't to kind of detract from the hashtag Stop Asian Hate. It's not to detract from Black Lives Matter. None of that. But the biggest issue is white supremacy. This all is a trickle-down effect of the white supremacist systems that we live in and function in. And white people, I'm speaking literally just to white people now, if we do not step up and come together and start listening and following the direction of the people affected by our ancestors, you're shite. Like you really, like, it's you're not really doing anything. You're just kind of like benefiting off of the backs of all these marginalized people and the atrocities that maybe not your ancestors specifically, but fellow white people that we benefit from the system are still benefiting from. That's what drives me crazy. Not to go on a tangent, because I won't, but I might. A mini tangent. Can I do a mini tangent? Can I just do a mini tangent?
Go for it.
You know what drives me crazy?
What?
Is when I see posts like, people will be like, oh, pay reparations, or like pay, marginalized people for their time and energy and resources and all this other stuff. And you always have that one white bitch who will come on the comments section and just be like, my ancestors didn't own slaves, so I don't know why I'm paying for other people's ancestors' mistakes. Bitch, my ancestors also didn't own slaves, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be like I feel like it's such a stupid argument. Like, it makes me so mad, because I'm just like, well, it's such a tit for tat, and it really detracts from the larger issue.
Right.
So
Well, it's also
I,
like too. It's like so even if for whatever reason your ancestors like weren't part of this, are you saying that you have an exception to fight against these problems? Because
thank you.
if not, all you're doing is just saying slavery was kind of okay.
Speak on it. Yeah, no, seriously, thank you. Thank you for forming full sentences of my frustration, because
Okay, we're
I was like
like
I was like, I'm so angry. Thank you. That's
it's the
exactly it.
bubbles. It's the bubbles.
It's the bubbles. The soda stream is making me go crazy. Oh, did you hear that?
All right, and now get to the heart of our queer agenda. We've done the best supporting actresses, we've done the best actresses. It's now time to do a March Madness round of best picture winners from the past
Oh,
10 years of the Oscars. And I paused because I realized I was like, this isn't really March Madness on any level, but we're going to claim it as a March Madness just to stick it to them. Why not?
yeah, and to be 100% honest, I don't know what March Madness is. I know it's a college basketball thing,
Yeah.
but I don't understand the charm of it. I don't understand it, but I do like competitions. I almost like competitiveness. I like competitiveness. I like competitions. So let's get into it and start ranking
Yes.
these best pictures, because some of them we'll get into it.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So if you haven't checked out our previous episodes, we have 5 minutes on the clock where Kyle and I will give our hot takes of each of these past winners, and at the very end we'll give our ranking here. All right, so we're gonna start with 2010. Kyle, are you ready?
I think I'm ready.
I don't know. I'm trying to do basketball stuff. All right, in three,
YMCA, do the wave. Woo!
woo!
Woo! Get Dippin'
Oh,
Dots.
oh my God. Okay. Very, very, very quick story. So, my family went to a vacation at a Six Flags one time and they were performing the YMCA and they pulled my dad up on stage and he was the C and he kept doing the C backwards. And I remember being both very like starstruck that my dad was on stage and too mortified that he could not get the C right.
I didn't see that coming.
All right. All right. And three, two, one. All right. We are going to start with 2010's Best Picture winner, The King's Speech. Um, did you see this movie?
I did. Did you see
Okay.
this movie?
I did, but I had to stop myself. I was like, I might not have seen this.
Well, it is that boring that you'd forget. The King's
Mhm.
Speech. Let me just say it. As a kid growing up, I had a speech impediment. I couldn't say CHs, SHs, Rs, Ws, THs, all that jazz. So shout out to the King's Speech for representation when it comes to people with speech impediments. Just kidding.
Representation matters.
Representation matters. I too could be King of England. Um, the King's Speech. So it's a historical film. It has Helena Bonham Carter as the Queen Mum.
Colin
Um,
Firth,
Colin Firth
who plays King
as
George.
King George. Um, is it something that I want to watch over and over and over again and gives me the warm fuzzy feelings? No. Is it boring? Yes. Was it a well-made film? Yeah.
Eh?
But I don't know. I feel like it's a safe choice.
Mm-hmm.
I was rooting in 2010 for Toy Story 3. Um,
Yeah,
hey, it brought me to tears.
it did.
But the King's Speech,
You and my
I have
boyfriend
less to
know he
say.
loves Toy Story 3.
Oh, it's so good. It brought me to tears. I saw it in the theater with my sister, and she turned to me and she's like, "Why the hell are you crying so much?" And I was like, "You don't understand." And I guess a lot of people don't understand, but I don't know. The King's Speech, would it win today? I don't know. Ever since Meghan and Oprah destroyed the royal family, I think that the King's Speech would not win in the
Mm-mm.
2021 climate. I think that
No.
Oprah completely slayed Queen Elizabeth.
Well, I
That's
think
the
that the
news that
King's
they were reporting, right? Right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that she slayed her and cut off her head.
Yeah.
No, I think the King's Speech would actually be like a 6-part miniseries on HBO if it was made today. It would definitely not be a movie. It would be like some like cash grab on HBO.
Yeah.
I remember rooting hardcore for the Social Network that year.
Mm.
Okay, well, first of all, I will just say the King's Speech. Obviously, I don't really have much to say about it because I don't really remember it. It's made by Tom Hooper, who also directed Les Mis and Cats, which just goes to show that I am not a fan of this director.
Oop, there it
Um,
is.
oh yeah, Danish girl. Bleh. I remember. So one of the main criticisms of the Oscars is that they always just seem so out of touch with reality and always really boring. And it's just like, why would you not award a really well-made film about fucking Facebook, like at the height of when Facebook was the thing, and you'd give it to the King's Speech? I, make it make sense for me. I don't
Why would
know.
you not award an animated film about toys coming to life?
Yes. Actually, to be
That
honest,
that is more in touch.
that is more in touch with reality. I was like, and to be fair, Toy Story 3 might be the best made out of all the Toy Stories.
It's
Just
really well
saying.
done. It's a full
Yeah.
circle moment with the kid going to college and then the toys being like, what does he say? What does Woody say? Something about
So
like,
long, partner.
I have goosebumps. You bitch, I have goosebumps. So long, partner. Oh
Right.
my god,
I remember
so
being
good.
so mad that they made a Toy Story 4 because Toy Story 3 wrapped it up so perfectly.
I
I was
never
like,
saw Toy Story 4.
I mean, weirdly enough, I still really enjoyed it because it wraps up
Sure.
the story again somehow, even though you didn't think it could. Yeah. But at the end of Toy Story 4, there's like this nice little moment. It's just like, oh wow. I thought this was the
Mhm.
end, but no, this is the end. I won't spoil it for you because you should watch it one day. And I want to watch it with you so I know because you might cry.
I
Um,
cry a lot. I'm realizing this as I've gotten older. I cry a lot, and I blame my mom because she cries at everything. It's
yeah.
the dramatic Leo. She's a Leo too, so we're just like, like it just I can't help it.
I'm just imagining you like in the theater and you're crying softly, but no one's like paying attention to you. And so you're just like,
That's exactly it. I actually
yeah.
don't like crying in front of people, because it makes me feel weak. But
Mm-hmm.
uh, weak, kind of like the King's Speech.
We kind of like the King's Speech. Ooh, that rhymed. Um, yeah, I think Tom Hooper also won Best Director for this film as well. And
So can he stop making movies? He
I was
didn't.
like,
He should.
he should. He's terrible. Um, I
What
don't.
does it?
Oh,
Oh, all right.
Saved by the Bell, Tom Hooper.
Saved by the Bell,
All
starring
right,
Tom Hooper.
that would be amazing if Tom Hooper directed like a
Like a
Saved by the Bell
dramatic,
comeback. Yeah.
yeah, a dramatic Saved by the Bell, like tell all movie. Oh
Didn't Dustin
my
Diamond
God.
die recently?
Oh yeah. Screeched to a halt. He died.
Yeah. Rest in peace. Anyway, Fear to Queer It.
Uh, Fear It.
Yeah. I like I would say Fear It is like almost too good of a phrase for it because it shows that I actively like dislike it. I don't even
Sure.
actively dislike it. I'm like, I give it an it. It.
It. Now,
Yeah.
it. Now that is Oscar nominated movie.
Yeah.
It. Mhm.
It. The Tim Curry version, of course, because we stand the original. All right. On to the next film. We have 2011's winner, The Artist, a silent
Okay.
film directed by Michael Havanashos. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. I know I did. Um, Kyle, I'm gonna have to say you're gonna have to take the lead with this one because I never saw
Oh, well, I'm so glad that we suggested to do this. Did you start the
it.
did you start the timer?
Yeah, the timer is set.
Okay, the timer set. So, much like the film The Artist, I'm going to interpret it by being giving my reaction to the film through silent theater.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you get that?
Uh,
Did you get all of that silent motions?
so let me guess. You were
Mhm.
surprised to be nominated for Best Actress in a Motion Picture.
I
And then
was.
you're appalled at the fact that you actually didn't win. You came in third
Mm,
place,
mhm.
even though you stuffed the ballot.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with stuffing things.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I got. Is that what the movie is about?
Well, no.
Oh.
But it is here's the thing about The Artist. It's not a bad film. It's fine.
Mhm.
I agree with the winner. I think it's a creative attempt to try to kind of reinterpret silent films, and Hollywood loves those kind of splashy throwbacks to old Hollywood.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm not surprised that it won. I will say that as a film, it doesn't necessarily have a lot of callbacks. Like, I don't think about The Artist when I think of best Oscar winners. Um, I think it was like kind of a safe win for them.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I think, hey, silent films stopped being made for a reason. Well, that reason was they were able to create sound. But I will say that it's kind of like one of those things where I'm like, I don't think we needed it. I don't think it was a necessary film. It's done beautifully, like it looks great. Um,
Right.
the dog's really good in it. Bow
It would have
wow.
been. I always wondered, like, since I've never seen the film, I wonder if it would have been cool as a stage production, if that would have been a little bit cooler.
I'm so sorry. I don't mean to laugh. Like, can you imagine a stage production, but they don't even have the music? They're just like
Right.
walking around silently, dancing around silently on stage. I don't, maybe like a dance number, maybe like a
Okay.
huge like dance performance.
Right.
They can rethink how musicals should be.
Maybe.
And everyone's painted in black and white.
Well,
That would be cool.
I was gonna say, I'm going to assume that the film was pretty faithful to like old silent films and like try to like readapt it. It's like, if you want nostalgia, like just watch a silent film.
Just
If
watch
you
a
want
silent
to
film.
if you want to do something big like The Artist, like it should have been like a grand spectacle of like 80,000 dancers, like a huge runway that comes from the top of the ceiling down where our actors, dance down. I don't know. I've never seen it, so I can't really have an opinion on it, but I would just say I bet it could have been bigger.
I think, well, I mean, like it was, I feel like for the time, people felt like it was really big and revolutionary and just like really just excited people.
Hmm.
Where those people are now, dead. But I think that, yeah, because like
Right.
the people who loved it were alive when silent films were still good. And then, that was 10 years ago. So they kicked the
Yeah.
bucket. Uh,
Also, this year was kind of weak in terms of like best picture nominees, because like I remember The Help was nominated for best picture.
mhm.
Moneyball,
See, that's why
um,
I'm like, it's a safe choice. Like, it's
War
safe.
Horse. Yeah.
What did you call me?
War Horror.
I thought you called me a whore horse.
War
Whore worse.
Worcestershire sauce.
Oh, you want some of this whore Worcestershire sauce?
Mm. No, I just remember that year being like kind of a flop in general for like Oscar Best Picture films. If
Who would
anything,
you have given it to?
I would have given it to The Tree of Life by Terrence Malick. Also kind of a boring choice, but at least it's more of an artistic risk, I guess. I don't know. I don't know.
I feel like, yeah, they are both artistic
We can't
risks.
give it to The Help.
Help us.
Yeah, help us.
I feel like they were both artistic risks, but for different reasons. And I think
Okay.
that Terrence Malick's was more abstract.
Mm.
That's what I'll finish on.
All right. So, do you fear it or queer it?
I give it a soft fear, a soft queer. I give it a meh.
A meh. Mm.
This is what I
See
give
this.
it. I give it a. That's a very sorry. That was very much mime energy, and I know that you were a mime in high school. So,
I was gonna say the proper technique to do it is to have
oh,
jazz hands.
oh, I probably would have been a good mime too. I'm very
Actually,
physical.
if you and I were in the same mime group in high school, we probably would have wiped the floor with the other mimes.
We could call it. We could call it. We could still do it. We could call it mime your business.
Mime your business. I love
Yeah,
it.
let's
That's
do it. Let's have a mime duo. Fuck Fear the Queer. We don't need
Yeah.
Fear the Queer. We're mimes now.
On to the next film. Unfortunately, we have two Fear-Its at this point here, so we're not off to a great start here, but hopefully 2012 will be a little bit better. In 3, 2, 1. All right. 2012's Best Picture winner. We have Argo, directed by Ben Affleck. And I think this is a very good example of how when they give out awards, a lot of times there's a narrative behind it, because we all know that this award was given to Ben Affleck simply because it was his comeback story. That's all I gotta say.
I think that's stupid.
Yeah.
I think it's dumb. I mean, this is outside of the film itself, but I just think that like awarding someone something because you're like, well, it's their comeback story. I don't agree with that unless in the future I am up for some award and it's my comeback story, then give me the goddamn award.
Yeah.
But you know, what to say about Argo? I think it's obvious that Hollywood enjoys films that reference Hollywood or
It's a big
are
circle jerk. Like
it is.
Like, yeah.
Literally, where is it? Do I have it on here? Somewhere I wrote it's a big circle jerk for Hollywood. Maybe it was for another film. But
I mean, there's a lot of them on this list that are like that.
There is. I don't know. You know, you have a film about it's an American hero, that kind of film, and then you have so American hero history, making a movie. Then you pack it full of stars.
We have a foreign enemy.
A foreign enemy, John Goodman. John Goodman isn't the foreign enemy.
John Goodman is our foreign enemy.
Who else is in it? Alan Arkin, right?
Alan Arkin, yeah. I remember this is like the year when John Goodman was starring in a lot of like really good films. I was just like, we should give John Goodman an Oscar, because I remember he was in
Like him.
He was in Flight. He was. I just remembered like he was having like this resurgence. I was just like,
yeah,
I love you, John Goodman.
What year was Inside? Isn't he in Inside Llewyn Davis? Yeah, it was around the same time that he was just like, I mean, good for him. He's probably still living off of all those movies that he made around 2012, 2013.
Right.
Yeah, I
don't hate Argo though. I actually like it's a fun Hollywood film if you take it at face value. Now, obviously, it's a historical film, so some of it is true, though obviously it's been bastardized for the screen. Like the moment where they're leaving the airport in Iraq, and it just so happens that the security guards are like chasing after the plane to try to like get them to stop.
Makes it more dramatic.
Oh, it's just like that never probably happened, I'm going to assume, but it sure makes a great dramatic moment.
Watch out. We got Ben Affleck stands that are going to come for you. They're going to say, no, it was accurate.
It's all the Bostonians. They're just like, hey,
where's my Dunkin' Donuts? I'm going to pop you one. What is that Boston accent?
I was going to say, I don't know.
I just feel like, just in films in general, when they're made and it's like America versus another country, I'd say 80% of the time I don't like them, just preference, because I think that a lot of the times when you make these films, you're always displaying the other country as seen as like this enemy, and there's really no reason why they're enemies towards America, but we've failed to realize that America has invaded and destroyed a lot of countries. So it's kind of like America's like, you know, will punch someone and that someone is another country, and the other country then hits back harder. And America's like, the fuck did you do that for?
Right. Like, what?
Yeah. So when you make these movies kind of like Argo, I mean, it doesn't do a terrible job, especially since it was based on a true story. But you still are kind of like, I don't know, celebrating that kind of like weird,
that nationalist like attitude.
Argo is fine. Ben Affleck is not his brother.
No, it's not his brother. I mean, at least, I mean, it's sad to say that, like, if you have to choose between two of the lesser evils, Ben Affleck is the lesser evil.
I mean, saw his penis in Gone Girl.
That's true. We'll give him a pass for that. Did you hear about the news story about David Fincher and Ben Affleck on Gone Girl?
No.
Okay. It has something to do about like how David Fincher wanted to have Ben Affleck wear a a New York Yankees hat,
Uh-huh.
and Ben Affleck refused because he's from Boston. Anyway, fear to
I thought
queer.
I thought you were going to say David Fincher wanted Ben Affleck nude more in the film, and he was like, "Nah, I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it."
No, man,
Um,
nah.
nah, man, nah. Uh, I'm gonna. I'll soft queer it. My winner that year was Beasts of the Southern Wild.
Hmm.
I love that kind of fantastical film. What about you?
I queer it because as a film, I did enjoy it. I don't think it's necessarily like a terribly made film. It's
No,
fun. My pick for that year was actually Zero Dark 30 because I remember that one kind of fucking me up when I watched it.
I've actually never seen Zero Dark 30 because it's another like war film. I
I was
just
gonna
don't
say
like war films. I think I really don't like them unless like 1917 was an exception for me. I
that was
liked
hardly
that
a
one.
war film. That was like a queer friendly like
Maybe that's
brothers
why I
like
liked it.
romance film.
I liked 1917. And what was the other one that came out a few years ago that had One
Dunkirk,
Direction? Dunkirk. Yes.
One
Yes.
Direction, singing to the
Yeah.
troops.
No. What's his name? Oh my God,
Harry
Harry
Styles.
Styles.
Yeah.
I was like, the cute, nice one that I like him. Yeah,
I'm just
Dunkirk was
imagining like
great.
Harry Styles like showing up on stage and being like, "Hello, troops.
He
Let's sing Watermelon Sugar."
oh my God, I'm just picturing just like, hello everybody. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
there's a war going on, and in the middle of it, oh God, there's bombs going off overhead. Anyways, here's watermelon sugar. Watermelon sugar. Hi. Oh, duck. Like now that is the Dunkirk I want to
That is
see.
the
Can we do
Dunkirk
it?
we need. Yeah.
We need that Dunkirk supercut. I'd watch that if it why not?
Right.
I'm into
Um,
that, yeah.
all right. Well, enough of our fantasies, though I do think that we probably could make a best picture winner here. Just saying. We're both pretty
If we
creative.
combined all of these films into one film, it
Right?
would be the number one best picture of all time.
It's called Mime Your Business, where Harry Styles originally was a mime but wanted to break out and to be a Hollywood star, but then got drafted into the World War and then made the best of it.
Somehow we have to bring up like slavery, sea monsters. It has to be directed by a Korean artist. It has to be based on a
But
play. Like
it has to be shot every 5 minutes over the past 10 years. Like, yeah.
over the past 10 years. Also, it has to all be one shot. So you just have to keep the film rolling when you're not shooting. It's
Right.
yeah.
And he has a
It has to
speech
be black and
impediment.
white.
Yeah.
Yeah, speech impediment, and it's black and white, and it's silent most of the film, except for
There
the
we
part
go.
that he speaks, which is his speech.
Ooh. And
I
that's
would
two
watch
thirds of the way in the
this.
film. Yeah, me
I would
too.
watch this.
Yeah.
Mime Your Business coming to
Mind your
HBO Max.
business. Yeah.
I like that.
Start your 30-day trial by putting in the code Fear the Queer.
Let me tell you, when I start dating again, when the quarantine is lifted, I'm gonna tell people you can start your 30-day trial with me. And if it doesn't work out for 30 days, ghost me. I don't care. That's fine.
The funny thing is that you saying that you're going to start dating again. Anyway,
I'm manifesting it. I am manifesting. I'm gonna have a cute ass boyfriend someday.
someday, somewhere, over the rainbow. All right, 3, 2, 1. Now we're getting into our 2013 winner, 12 Years a Slave, directed by Steve McQueen.
Yeah.
Um, uh, this is a heavy one.
All right. Well, no, you go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it deserves its best picture win. Yes, in a way.
Yeah,
Um,
I do too.
I mean, there is something to say about Hollywood only glorifying black films that have to deal with slavery or
Yeah.
something really traumatic that happens to them. So that means that the only prestigious black films that can be made have to deal with trauma, as if they aren't already
Yes.
traumatized enough by this shit. Um, I really liked it. I've only seen it once.
Mhm.
I will never see it again.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's like a yes, it deserves it, but at what cost, I guess, because you're glorifying something that is a very terrible part of our history, you know?
Yeah, it kind of there. So recently, there's this new Amazon show coming out called Them,
Mhm.
which is kind of looks like a ripoff of a Jordan Peele kind of like Us Get Out situation about
Mhm.
this black family moving into a white suburb and the trauma that they're experiencing. It looks terrible from a lot of aspects, but you made a really good point when it comes up to like why is stuff with Black people only made when it is about trauma.
Hmm.
And I feel like 12 Years a Slave, while it deserved to win, and it's a well-made film, it is it's hard to watch, and I can't tell if it's hard to watch because I'm a white person with a little bit of white guilt, and these things did happen. And isn't it
Hmm.
based on a true story? It's based on a true story, right?
Well, yeah, it's written
Like
by
the
the slave Solomon. It's based off his autobiography.
right. So I think that has like an added layer to it.
Hmm.
I think the Oscars, a point, the reason I brought up them, the new show, um, is someone made a good point that a lot of times, not that 12 Years a Slave was made by a white person, because it wasn't, but when white people create things and they think that they're like helping by like being like, oh, look at this like traumatic experience when it comes to like slavery or racism or whatever it might be, they think they're helping in some kind of aspect because it's like a half-assed version of taking responsibility, but they're actually not.
Right.
um and I feel like the Academy, because it is, I mean, it's becoming more and more diverse, sure, but the Academy for the most part is older white men. And so for them to award a film that is based on slavery is almost like them being like, look, we're trying, we're better. See,
Right.
we're being better by awarding a film that is traumatic. It's, I mean, it's a well acted film. It's beautifully shot. It's upsetting. It's important. But yeah, I agree with you. I think it is kind of like a weird slippery slope when you only award films or highlight films that have to do with Black tragedy or trauma.
Hmm.
And that goes
Oh,
that goes for like any marginalized group. If you're
yeah.
only highlighting films that are traumatic to those groups, you gotta kind of rethink what you're doing there.
Right, exactly. Because it's just like there's some like over the like years of the Academy Awards, you've had like uh rom-coms that have been
Mhm.
celebrated by the Oscars. And so, why is Julia Roberts being awarded for Pretty Woman in her role? But like any black actor has to be like a Viola Davis character in The Help where she has this long monologue about being sad.
Mhm.
When there's so many like great black films out there that celebrate like black
Yeah,
excellence, rom-coms like Girls Trip. I thought Girls Trip was amazing. I don't know how we got
so
from 12
funny.
to Girls Trip, but I'm just saying like there's a lot of options out there, and I think this is one of the highlights that just goes to show of the problems that the Academy has,
Mhm.
which unfortunately does take away from the film because the film is really good. So
It is. It's a well-made film. I do I like Steve McQueen? I think I do. I liked
you
Shane.
like Widows?
I liked Widows. I think I like him. But I have also read some things that that there's, because he is from the UK, there is a different understanding of racism in America.
Oh, totally.
Um, but that's a whole nother subject. I don't know. That just kind of popped into
I was
my
like, we
head.
only have 5 minutes here.
We only have 5 minutes.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
open your books
and
to racism in America.
oh, and on that,
I think that was a
um,
perfect time to stop. Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say my runner-up for that year was Dallas Buyers Club. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
You wanted me to go on full rage, like cut the cameras dead ass. Like
Right.
I hate Dallas Buyers Club. I hate it. Loathe entirely the Grinch. But Dallas Buyers Club. If you want to actually see me rant and rave and go on a tangent for at least like 45 minutes, you'll brought up that film, which you did. So this now is going to be an episode
Right.
about Dallas Buyers
About
Club.
Dallas
Just
Buyers
kidding.
Club. Yeah.
Just
No,
kidding.
it's a terrible film. All right.
Yeah, I hate it.
Fear or Queer, 12 Years a Slave,
Um,
winning Best Picture.
I queer 12 Years a Slave winning Best Picture. I do.
Me too. Me too. Um, because I
Even
feel
though
like
we were kind of like, at the end of the day, it she is the moment.
yeah. Well, I also think too that yeah, like I said, it's an important film. It was really well made, and all the other nominations of the year, I don't think holds a candle to how well made 12 Years a Slave was. So that's just
Yeah.
me. All right,
No.
on to 2014's winner. I have a few comments about this one. So are
All
you
right.
ready?
I Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that you have a few comments because I also have a few comments, and our comments together can make a full show.
Can make a
So
full commentary.
can make a full commentary on the matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready for this.
All right. And 3, 2, 1. Now we have 2014's winner, Birdman, or in parenthesis, The Virtue of Ignorance. Directed by Alejandro Iñárritu, starring Michael Keaton, his comeback vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have only seen this movie once.
Me
And
too.
I remember liking it.
Yes.
I will say though, the only reason why I was happy that it won is simply because Boyhood didn't.
In my notes right here,
Yeah.
it says, as long as Boyhood didn't win, I'm good.
Yeah.
I will not rant and rave about my dislike for Boyhood. If you want that, go back to our supportive actress episode where I basically read Patricia Arquette to filth. Sorry, sorry, Patty.
That poor woman.
Sorry, Patty.
Patty Arquette.
She's Patty Arquette. That's her. That's what I call her. We DM each other sometimes.
Yeah.
Birdman. When I honestly, I didn't know what this film was about when I first saw the trailer for it. Or not seeing the trailer, but see the publicity, and I was like, oh fuck, I cannot watch a movie about birds and a man because I am terrified of birds. But let me tell you,
And he hates men.
hate them. Okay, that's the end of the episode. Anyways,
Yeah.
no, but Birdman, it seems like a little bit of an obvious winner for the Oscars because again, it has similar themes. You have
Hollywood versus theater.
Hollywood versus theater, mainstream versus indie. It is a comeback story not only for Michael Keaton, the actor, but also the character he is playing. So it's a lot of different elements all put together into an Oscar-winning stew. So it makes sense to me why it won. And it also is kind of cool. It is one of those films that it is seemingly all one shot. We know it isn't all one shot and that it was cut together, but the edits they made it is fabulous. It is really well done.
Yeah. I was gonna say, looking at it in hindsight, because I was kind of surprised when it won originally. I was just like, oh, like wow, Birdman won, yay! But like now looking back at it, like I should have seen that coming a mile away because you're right. It is just one big like celebratory, masturbatory message of love Hollywood. Yeah.
Hollywood circle jerk. That's where the note was.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Hollywood circle jerk. Yeah.
It wasn't my favorite picture of the year. I personally really wanted Whiplash or Selma to win Best Picture, but we both know that neither one of those films would have won. So
no, I mean Whiplash. If you have not seen Whiplash, definitely see Whiplash. See Selma too, but Whiplash. What?
You can see Selma, but Whiplash, honey.
Well, Selma. I mean, it's another. You have a historical event, Martin Luther King Jr., obviously important. But Whiplash is about drumming, and we
much more important.
It is. I mean, that's a fabulous film. That is a wild ass film, and really well done. And I wish the director would have just continued with the Whiplash sort of vibe and not made some other things, which we'll
just say
about.
La La Land.
Okay, Faye Dunaway.
Yeah.
But
can you imagine if that's what Faye Dunaway said to Warren Beatty, like when he opened the envelope? Say it, La La Land.
Just say it. I know it didn't win. Say it though.
Say it.
I definitely, Birdman deserved to win. It's a well-made film. I would argue I enjoyed everyone who starred in it: Edward Norton, Emma Stone, Michael Keaton, like we said.
Michael Keaton. Actually, I was rooting for Michael Keaton to win the Oscar because I would have been like, oh my god, like this like semi weirdly autobiographical film about Michael Keaton, like getting all this praise, and if he won a Best Actor, award.
I do remember thinking, I was like, oh, like I felt bad for him when he didn't win. But then when Birdman won Best Picture, I was like, well, this kind of makes up for it, if that makes sense. I was like, okay, well, he didn't win the Best Actor, but the film won. So in a way, he still sort of won. Because I don't think that film would be what it was if he was not in it.
No, definitely not. Well, and in a way, like it kind of helped him get a second resurgence in Hollywood because then he
Oh
went on to
yeah.
like star in a couple of other good
Spotlight,
films,
The
which
Founder. Yep.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I'm not mad that it won. Again, it's more of like a I just wanted Boyhood to lose. So any other film that would have
Yeah.
won that year, I probably would have said the exact same thing. But like, at least it's not Boyhood.
At least it's not Boyhood. On
And
that
that's
note, at least it's not Boyhood.
and that's that on that. All right, Fear to Queer, Birdman winning Best Picture.
Queer it.
I queer it as well. All right, we're already halfway
Yeah.
through this list. Can you believe? Can you
Tasty.
believe?
Can you believe?
In Life After Love. All right, now we're on
No.
2015's winner in
Okay.
3, 2, 1. All right, 2015's winner is Spotlight, directed
Mm-hmm.
by Tom McCarthy, which explores the Boston Globe's search against the Catholic Church and their history of pedophilia.
They're pedophiles in the
They're
Catholic Church.
yeah.
Yeah. So
um,
you're a recovering Catholic. What do you think?
I was gonna say, as a recovering Catholic, it was kind of weird to watch because I'm just like
Mhm.
I was just like, man, like growing up in a Catholic church and knowing that I was presenting as a little boy, I'm just like, I can't believe like, no stories have been told about any Iowa priests, coming out as pedophiles that I knew
Yet.
of, that I
Yeah.
knew of. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, I bet you anything that there was probably some shady shit going on behind the scenes that no one even knew about.
It's all connected.
Yeah, it is. And I really, really enjoyed Spotlight. As traumatizing of a film it is to kind of sit through.
There's that trauma. There's the T again. T
Yeah.
for trauma.
Yeah, exactly. No, I liked it because it's like it was presented in an investigative journalistic type of
Mhm.
way, but the journalists weren't like martyrs in a lot of ways. Like they were just like kind of just doing their jobs, just being like,
Yeah.
hey, like tell us your story. Michael Keaton is great in it.
Michael
Mark
Keaton,
Ruffalo.
Rachel McAdams.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a really well made movie, and I mean I'm a sucker for true crime. I love like kind of that mystery, discovering like what's underneath. When I first heard the name Spotlight, I thought it was about what I always want to be in, the spotlight.
That's
Um,
not.
I was rudely mistaken.
You're like,
um,
where is my star's journey?
where's my star's journey? Instead, we're going to these pedophile priests and expose them. No, don't do that. But I just think that like I mean, the Catholic Church. I'm gonna say something controversial yet brave. The Catholic Church can get fucked. The
Yeah,
Vatican can get fucked.
the Pope can get
Recently
fucked.
the Pope can get fucked. But recently, the Catholic Church came out against same-sex marriage. We know this. It can't be blessed from above, whatever. I don't understand. I don't give two fucks what an organization has to say about anything when they are protecting pedophiles.
Hmm.
Get fucked, Catholic Church.
Right. Well, another thing too is that like I think what the Catholic Church is not realizing is the fact that we are at the dawn of a new era of a generation that is not going to put up with this. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
these Gen Zers are like only like 17 or 18 right now, but do not underestimate these kids.
I won't. They'll cancel me.
Right, I was gonna say, like, and if you want to give them any ammo to cancel your entire organization, they will come for you. Um, and so, in a way, Pope Francis, I feel like this was the beginning of the end of the Catholic Church. In a way, I mean, maybe I'm being too optimistic of like how powerful they are, but
They're powerful. They're always going to be in control.
yeah,
Sadly, but I think the amount of people, I guess, falling for
supporting it,
for
yeah,
supporting it, because to make such a blanket statement about a group of people and using your religion to weaponize against marginalized groups is complete bullshit. And I know
hmm
plenty of religious people who do not think that way. Um, and I mean they're not Catholic, but um,
My family
but
actually stopped being Catholics once
mhm.
they realized I came
Oh,
out. That is not my buzzer.
that is my buzzer. I ordered something from this small place. Uh, Sorry,
Pizza Hut.
my assistant Brandon is going to buzz them in. I ordered a steamer for my drag wigs to curl them. So
Okay.
I a steamer's coming in. But I don't mean to steam up the room with all this cloudiness, and we should put the focus back on Spotlight. Uh,
The spotlight on Spotlight.
did you see how I got there? I
I
got back
did.
there. Yeah, I think Spotlight is a great film. I think that I actually went through this like weird phase of like I watched Doubt just like maybe a few years ago. I watched Doubt, then The
Just
Keepers
sat down
on
and wanted to.
Netflix.
Oh,
And yeah, and then I was like, okay, gotta keep it sad. And then I watched Spotlight, and I was like, I really just want to hate the Catholic Church at this
I was
point.
gonna say, what kind of masochistic behavior is this?
I don't know. But yeah, luckily Spotlight, what I like about Spotlight is even though I'm gonna say I messed
Nope.
up because
Nope.
I had an order. I had an order
That
that was coming in.
the timer said it.
I had an order that was
No,
coming
I'm kidding.
in.
I'm kidding. What do you have to say?
Okay, all I'm gonna say is what's good about Spotlight is like many of the films, it does focus on some trauma, but unlike a lot of the films, because it doesn't take place like when the trauma is happening, you're almost like secondhand removed from the sadness, and
Mhm.
you're able to almost look at it from a critical point of view of being like, oh, like these things happened and they aren't showing it out on screen. Does that make
Yes.
sense?
Yes. I was gonna say very quickly, the one thing that Spotlight does really well as a journalistic film is that it does present itself as a very objective film.
Yeah.
And I think like the sense of coldness that it presents to it actually helps the film in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah, I
Um
agree.
anyway, fear it or queer. Do you fear or queer Spotlight winning Best Picture?
I queer it.
I queer it
it.
too. I give it a good solid queer it.
Yeah.
My runner up that year was Brooklyn, and I don't think Brooklyn actually
Oh
would have won Best Picture, so I'm happy that Spotlight did.
yeah. No, I put down. I also enjoyed Brooklyn and Mad Max Fury Road. I thought they both
Oh,
were really great films. Um, that I actually think I was rooting for Mad Max Fury Road.
I
Um,
forgot. I forgot. I actually think I
girl
was too.
power, environmentalism, down with capitalism, that sort of thing. But Spotlight also very good.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. I
But
queer it.
Spotlight, yeah, exactly. All
I
right.
queer it. Mhm.
Are we ready for the next one? Three, two, one. All right. Now we have 2016's winner. Not Spotlight, but Moonlight.
Oh, oh, I did not realize there was two lights there. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
God. I
The
love
reason why
it.
the reason why I connected the two is because on one of the Black Friday deals at Target, I was like buying a
Mhm.
whole bunch of like Oscar films, and I bought both Spotlight and Moonlight, and I just put them on my shelf, and I was just like, oh, that's funny. That's funny. Anyway,
Leave the light
Moonlight.
on for you.
Right. Moonlight, probably one of the most controversial like presenting wins, if that makes sense. And the fact that Warren Beatty
Controversial.
and no, in the sense that Warren Beatty and Faye
Oh, Faye
Dunaway fucked
Dunaway
it up.
fucked it up. Yeah.
Yeah. That took away a really great moment.
They had one job.
Yeah. Literally one job. And I actually blame Warren Beatty a lot for this one because he literally saw the card, and rather than being like, oh, we have the wrong card, he just kind of was like,
Well, he was like, oh, we have the, and I think he tried to say it to Faye Dunaway. But she was probably just like, shut up.
right.
La La Land.
Which
Idiot.
let's say fuck Faye Dunaway too. I don't really like her either, but
Yeah, how can they not? I mean, I feel like her being the monster in Mommy Dearest is not far off of who she may be in real life. I'm just saying. She never
if
got
Betty
over.
Davis hates you.
Yeah.
Anyway, Moonlight,
Perfect.
beautiful.
It's poetry on film. That's what I said after watching it. It's poetry on film.
It really is.
It just is so beautiful to watch.
I was gonna say, I have great memories of watching this film because it was Halloween 2016.
We watched it together.
We watched it together. I was sitting in a Pikachu costume in the middle of the theater, crying my eyes out at the end of a beautiful film.
Well, we all make choices.
Yeah. I just remember too, like Moonlight came right at the time when Oscar So White was
Mhm.
at the head. Um,
Yeah.
and I remember even thinking, I was just like, I hope like this little independent film somehow makes it to Oscar night, even
Yeah.
if it doesn't win. I even said I was like, it won't win, but even if it makes it to Oscar night, I hope that you know is a nice change moving forward. And then lo and behold, it wins Best
It won.
Picture out
Yeah.
of nowhere. It's so beautiful. I it's
If
funny
you
because
Oh, go
oh,
ahead. Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say I would even argue that it might be in the top 5 Best Picture winners of all time.
Mhm.
So, anyway,
Yeah, I was gonna say if you tune into our show, and you haven't seen Moonlight yet, please do. Like,
yeah,
do me a favor. Listen to me, because no one else does. No,
yeah,
uh, watch Moonlight. I think it's
essential
beautiful.
viewing. Yeah, um,
And hey, it was like a 1-2 hit. You had a black film winning and a gay film,
hmm
and it was the first time that a queer film uh won the Oscars.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
Oh, okay. I
yeah,
was gonna say
because Brokeback Mountain didn't win.
that's true. Brokeback Mountain did not win. They were
Mhm.
not for Jake Gyllenhaal getting his ass cheeks slapped after eating a can of beans.
I
Um,
was. I,
um,
I think the narrative behind Moonlight though is putting it in the same realm as La La Land
mhm,
is wild to me, because like Moonlight is
right.
just such a beautiful film, and so it feels like Barry Jenkins, and he does this with the films that like this, and If Beale Street Could Talk, it feels like he's really taking care of these characters, and it
hmm
feels like even though bad things are happening to them, it doesn't feel like he's like exposing them to harm purposefully. um
No.
so it's just done so well. It is insane to me that Moonlight and La La Land are even in the same breath, because while I kind of enjoyed La La Land on first viewing, it is not, it is mediocre at best.
hmm
Um and this is the Whiplash director. What's his name? Darren what's
Damien
his name?
Chazelle.
Damien Chazelle. Sure. Rachel Zozelle. But
But I mean, I'm happy that La La Land didn't win because that was another example of Hollywood celebrating Hollywood because that's what La La Land is. And
right.
that's why I thought it was going to be a shoe in to win the Best Picture. And it was just a very lovely surprise. That being said, I do think that year in general was a really good year for film. My runner up for that year was Arrival, randomly, the Alien movie.
Arrival's great.
Yeah, that
I
was it
All right.
already.
Well,
I could go on and on about how great Moonlight is. I think
yeah,
it's because we were
me
talking
too.
shit about Faye Dunaway for so long.
Hey, you know what? If there's two things that we can talk shit about, it's Faye Dunaway and La La
The
Land.
GOP. Oh.
GOP. Oh yeah, the GOP. Well, my list of like people I hate, it's Faye Dunaway and then Donald Trump. No, I'm just I'm just kidding. Could you imagine? Could you
I mean,
imagine?
I was gonna say, like, if there's one person who could beat Donald Trump, it's gonna have to be Faye
It's
Dunaway.
Faye Dunaway. Just say that this is your new assistant. His name's Donnie. And
Yeah.
she'll just start throwing shit at him and calling him the F word.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Fear to queer it. Fear or queer Moonlight winning Best Picture.
Come on now. We're queering that shit.
We're
Come on.
queering that queer shit up.
We're queering the queer shit up. It is beautiful. It's perfect. It looks like Linda Evangelista. It's a
It's a
model.
model. Is it smiling? Oh, did you stone those tights?
Oh my
Anyway.
God.
All right, on to 2017's winner in three, two, one. Okay, I will say this. Oh, first of all, Shape of Water, directed by Guillermo del Toro, won Best Picture this
Oh my
year.
God. Spoiler alert.
That being said, this might be my favorite year for the category of Best Picture in
Yes,
terms of
yes.
like what could have won because we had Shape of Water, which I enjoyed,
Mm-hmm,
Get Out, Call
mm-hmm,
Me by Your Name,
mm-hmm,
Lady Bird.
mm-hmm.
What else did we have? We had Dunkirk, which I randomly liked. We had The Post. We had Phantom Thread. I think the one movie I didn't like was Three Billboards.
Yeah. Yeah. But enough about her.
Yeah,
So Shape of Water, I agree with you. I thought it was like a really good year for film. My pick to win was Get Out.
me too.
And kind of disappointed it didn't win. But so happy that Jordan Peele won for the screenplay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things where I was like, well, at least Jordan Peele won, and it is like getting the recognition it deserves because Get Out was a great film. Shape of Water. I like Guillermo del Toro. It's no Pan's Labyrinth for me. Pan's Labyrinth was just like so upsetting.
Yeah.
And hey, it's like the Mitch McConnell hand-eye guy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Shape of Water, I think, is a nice like continuation to how he tells stories and the kind of movies that he makes. I enjoyed it from the aspect that all the characters that are drawn to protecting this sea monster essentially are somehow marginalized in their own way. You
Mm-hmm.
had the immigrant, you had the Black woman, you had the woman who's deaf, and you had the gay man, all
Mm-hmm.
trying to protect. And it was kind of like, I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it was kind of like, see how marginalized people can come together and kind of fight
And protect
against
each other.
and
Yeah.
protect each other, which I think is a really like whether the film meant to do that or not, I think it's an important message that it had.
Yes, I think Guillermo del Toro is smart enough to make choices like that. I don't think
He
that
seems like a
that's
very sweet
accidental.
person. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I will say that the one like bloop that happened in the film is the fact that she's mute, she's not deaf, but the mute main character is Sally Hawkins, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she is signing, but it's not American Sign Language. And I remember reading that there were people in the deaf community that felt like that was a really big missed opportunity, because instead of being like displaying actual ASL on screen, you have someone who's just like making up sign like hands.
Oh, she was just like doing her own language.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, cancel me if I'm wrong, but I think that that could have been a really, I mean, just like an added layer to it, like, oh look, we even have someone who is signing. And I think it even makes it would have made Sally Hawkins' performance even better.
Mm-hmm.
And but that wasn't the case. But the film overall, I love it. I mean, Octavia Spencer, my queen,
Yeah.
she's great in it. Yeah, it's a well done film.
Who was it? Richard Jenkins, who was
Richard Jenkins, he plays the gay character, and then he's the dad
Yeah.
in Call Me by Your Name, and which
No, he's not.
no, he's not.
Richard Jenkins and Call Me by Your Name.
Wait,
No.
wait, who's the gay character?
You mean the dad?
Yeah, who's the dad?
I don't know, but it's definitely not Richard Jenkins.
Who am I thinking of? Not to take away from this, but who am I thinking of?
I don't know. Faye Dunaway? I don't know.
Faye Dunaway.
Matilda.
Oh.
This is another Matilda moment for you.
Oh my gosh. Let me just there's so many films in my head that I do get confused sometimes. I do get confused. But
no,
what do you agree with overall?
I agree with everything in what you're saying. I think The Shape of Water is a very cute film. Again, there are also elements of it that have like a love for Hollywood, because you remember like that fantasy scene that she has where like her and the fishman are like dancing and it's like all black and white.
Yes. Now that's what the artist should have been.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I was gonna say
it kind of was, but
should have been a fishman.
Oh man, that could have been really something.
Yeah.
That could have been something.
I mean, it's not my pick for Best Picture. Get Out was, but I'm not mad that Shape of Water won. I think it highlighted a lot of cool different characters, because that's the one thing I remember about the movie is like Richard Jenkins' storyline about him always buying key lime pie even though he fucking hates it, just because he wanted to attract a man. Anyway,
which same, I would do that too.
Right.
Give me, okay, wait, I'm not crazy. I know I'm not crazy. The actor I was thinking of is Michael, was it Michael Stahlberg?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Michael, is it Stahlberg?
Yeah.
Stahlberg. So that's the person who is both in Calling by Your Name as Your Dad and the scientist.
He was the scientist.
Like the Russian immigrant scientist who goes against the bad guys. Yeah. Yes.
No, but he's not.
See, okay, he's not the gay one.
No.
Sorry, that was my bad. No, he's not the gay one, but I was trying to be like, wow, he plays a lot of gay characters. No, he only played a dad to a gay son who also may have been gay. I guess it's just how you interpret the last scene of Call Me by Your Name.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Which
Shape of Water. What are you gonna say?
I was gonna say, which side note, now that Army Hammer has been,
Ugh.
shown as this cannibalistic,
Oh,
gross douchebag, I'm going to assume Call Me by Your Name 2 is probably canceled.
yeah, I'm okay with it being canceled.
I'm fine with it being a standalone film. It doesn't need to be a
I
franchise.
I am too. Yeah,
I don't know.
the Army Hammer situation, allegations, cannibalism, uh trigger warning, rape allegations. It's all very, I don't like it.
Yeah,
It's
me
it's
neither.
it's 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 messy, and
We fear that, sis.
we fear that, definitely.
That being
But
said, The Shape of Water winning Best Picture, I queer it.
I queer it too. Yeah, I queer
Okay.
it too. I like it. Again, yeah, I thought Get Out should have won, but I'm I wasn't angry that Shape of Water won.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We only have 2 movies left here. And this
Mhm.
one, I feel like was going to be a big one we have to talk about. So let's
Okay,
get
let's do
into
it.
it here.
Mhm.
In 3, 2, 1. Now we have 2018's Best Picture winner, which overall I will say arguably was probably my least favorite category of all the Best Picture contenders. But we have
Hmm.
Green Book winning Best Picture, directed by one of the Farrelly brothers.
It
Um,
solved racism.
it solved racism. Like between that and The Help, like my God, we're in such a better place now.
Mhm,
Like
mhm,
that and Driving Miss Daisy, like the triple trifecta of ending racism films.
mhm.
It's
Hey,
beautiful.
you're doing an Illuminati symbol. Fear the queer. We're part of the Illuminati now.
Fear the
Um,
queer.
but oh, put that on our money.
Yeah.
Yeah, Green Book is just one of those films that it's. I was frustrated by how accessible it was to middle America. Does that make sense? Like
Mm-hmm.
white middle America.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's like a great, like I don't think it's a well-made film. I'll say this. I don't think it's a well-made film. Mahershala Ali is a great actor.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, you can put sprinkles on a piece of shit, but it's still shit. But it at least looks nicer. Um
Right. But
that's kind of how I feel about it.
it feels like one of those films that like if it was like any other year or if it was like any other climate, I feel like it would have just came out, it would have, made money at the box office and then you would have just saw it
Yeah.
randomly on TNT like every once in a while. Like
Yeah.
it's one of those type of films where you're just like, yeah, it's a movie.
Why did it get
Uh,
it definitely, I will say this. It feels like it fought to be noticed by the Oscars, but it didn't have to fight very hard. I'm saying it fought as in like it did not deserve the recognition that it got. But once that it was on the Oscar voters' radar, they couldn't look
they
away.
just like yeah, they just like took off with it.
They couldn't look away.
And there were so many great films that year that could have been recognized. Spike Lee's Black Klansman was really good. Though it's not my
I mean,
favorite film.
iconic that Spike Lee got up and walked out when Green Book won.
Yeah.
Oh my god, iconic. And do you remember we had that coworker, um, the one that I am not a fan of, who no longer is a coworker of mine, but she was like, "How dare Spike Lee do that? It is so rude to the Academy." I'm like, "Fuck off."
Oh, shut
Um,
up.
Shut up, you
Actually,
basic white bitch.
this just goes
But
to show like what type of people were drawn to Green Book, like that former coworker
yes,
who also
yes.
put on Motown for MLK Day at the bar because MLK Motown. uh, One thing
It,
I will say, I have a little anecdote about Green Book is that
yes.
there is this like cute, unassuming white guy who came to the bar one day, sat down, talked to me and one of our other coworkers. I think they were taking a test in the building and they just wanted to get a drink after. Clearly a suburbanite, was visiting Chicago just for the
Mhm.
day. Really fascinated by the fact that there was a bar inside of a movie theater and stuff like that. And then he was just like, what my favorite movie of last year was?
Mhm.
Green Book.
Mhm.
And weirdly enough, he then followed me on Instagram and we still follow each other to this
Well,
day.
what's funny is he follows the podcast too.
He does follow the
So
podcast.
so
Maybe he
shout out
listens.
to, is it
I think Matt.
Matt?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
shout out to Matt. I mean, Matt
Shout out to
is a
Matt.
pretty general name. Yeah, here's the thing. Green Book, I don't really fault people who watch Green Book and enjoyed it. I don't.
I do.
I you do?
I do. I'm just gonna say it.
I mean,
Like,
no,
educate
like
yourselves a little more. I don't know.
but I if you watch something and you enjoy it, but you at least have the knowledge and the wherewithal to be like, it shouldn't be regarded in such a high level, that I'm okay with. If you watch it and you're
Sure.
like, this is the best movie of all time, you just have only seen 3 movies.
Right.
Because like it is not the best movie of all time. That's just a
No.
fact. That is not even an opinion.
Facts are
Like
facts, America.
these are facts. Green Book is not the best movie of all time.
No.
Literally, I would
But
have
you're.
given the best picture film to Black Panther,
Mm-hmm.
The Favorite,
A Star Is
Roma, A
Born.
Star Is Born.
Roma.
Literally, any of those could have won. And
Bohemian
Green Book won.
Rhapsody. I'm kidding.
I would have liked Bohemian Rhapsody to win over Green Book.
Yeah, me too, actually, which shows to show
Like,
how bad it was. No, but I agree. I think there's something about like because growing up in Iowa, I could definitely see people from Iowa watching that movie be like, that was really touching.
yeah, no,
And
for sure.
thinking that the simplistic rules of racism only apply to that, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I see that the timer is about done here, and okay.
Oh wow. Oh
Yep.
wow.
Saved by the Bell Green Book because I would have ripped into you a little bit more here.
Oh, I mean, do you want to rip into it more? I don't. I don't play by the rules.
No, we're gonna follow the rules. I'm a rule follower.
I thought I was the rule follower
I
out of the
know,
two of
but
us.
weirdly enough, I'm the rule maker in this one, and we're gonna stick
You're
to
the
it.
rule maker, and you want others to follow it. Where I'm like hippy dippy.
Yeah. All right. Fear to Queer, Green Book, winning Best Picture.
Fear it.
I fear it with a capital F.
A capital F.
A capital F.
A capital F. Yeah. Fear
All
it.
right. We're already on to our last Best Picture winner.
Oh
Are we
God.
ready?
We've gone through so many, and yet,
And yet, I've only liked like 4 of them.
yeah. Well, we'll get into it.
Yeah.
Um.
All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, we have 2019's Best Picture winner, which again, because of the pandemic, feels like a century ago. But we have Bong Joon-ho's Parasite winning Best Picture, becoming the first international film to win Best Picture at the Oscars. And it's the first South Korean film to even get recognition from the Academy. Kyle, what do you think about this win?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Parasite was the only film that could have won. I didn't know if it would win. Well, no, that's not true. I remember saying, because everyone's like, Parasite, everyone kept saying Parasite should win. Will it win? No, I don't think it's going to win. Everyone thought that 1917 was going to win.
Mm-hmm.
And in the back of my mind, I was like, yeah, it should win. But then I started thinking, and I was like, but if everyone I talk to thinks that it should win, then maybe the Academy also thinks that, because it was literally every person that saw it was like, holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my uncles saw it, and I like how they put it. They said, is it is it the best film I've ever seen? Possibly. Is it my favorite film? Probably not. And I think that's a good way to put it, because it's so well
It's
made.
wild.
It's wild. It's well made. It keeps you on your
Yeah.
toes. It's well acted. There's social commentary. It's well shot. It literally, there's so many things to it. So I was very happy that it won. Josh, I know that you hate this film. So
I do.
no, I'm just kidding. So what do you
I
think?
wanted Hustlers to win. No, I'm kidding.
Well,
I would have been mad actually. I love Parasite. I also too was walking into this Oscar night kind of preparing myself for disappointment, because I know that 1917 was like the front runner at that point, which nothing against that film. I actually did
I
enjoy
liked
it,
it. It was fine.
but I was
Yeah.
just like, I don't know. I was just like, really, this is what we're going to award as the best picture when we have Parasite right here in the corner, you know?
Mhm,
And
mhm.
then all of a sudden, Bong Joon-ho wins Best Director, and I like was like, what? I was like, oh my God. I was so happy. But then, weirdly enough, I was just like, well, he won Best Director. That means that it's definitely not going to win Best Picture because
Yeah.
you know that's how the Academy plays.
Yep.
But lo and behold, the Oscars are just like, guess what? We did it. And of course, they had Jane Fonda presenting it, which is, of course, just brilliant in
I
itself.
love Jane.
Um,
I love her.
I love Parasite. It's one of my favorite movies of the decade. It's a wild ride. I don't know if, yeah, I think you're right. I don't know if you really enjoy watching the film when
But
it
it's
happens,
it's it's
but you're so
still
like
perfect.
enthralled
Yeah.
by it that you're just like,
It
I've seen
it
it.
is like a perfect film. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it twice now, and both times
Mhm.
I was still kind of like, whoa. Um, that being said, this was actually a pretty good year for film.
Mhm.
It's just that 1917 weirdly became the front runner out of nowhere. I actually also really like The Irishman. I
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
The
and
Irishman is just so long.
I know. I was gonna say, I know, like
But I liked it too.
it's a very polarizing film, but I did like The Irishman. Um, Justice for Hustlers. You know,
Justice for
uh,
Hustlers.
Justice for
Let's
Hustlers.
get loud.
Yeah,
J Lo.
exactly. J Lo.
Yeah.
I love Little Women. I liked Marriage Story. The only one I didn't really like was Jojo Rabbit.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Parasite definitely wrapped up a lot of narratives for Hollywood that hopefully it'll start moving in the right direction, if that
But
makes sense. Because
you award the best film not based on who made it or where it's from, but
or
because
the
it is the best
narrative.
film or the
Right.
narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, because for so long now, Oscar So White has been trending, at least for as long as I can remember, for the past 10 years, about like
Mhm.
how the Academy is really out of date in terms of awarding best films, broadening their horizons of what they consider great. So yeah, I think this could be the dawn of a new future for the Oscars.
I mean, you look at some of the films that are nominated this year and the people nominated.
Hmm.
Not to kind of like take away from Parasite and the films that we're talking about, but it's a fairly diverse group of people. I mean, you have two Asian leading men
Hmm.
in for the acting category.
Right.
Um,
First time in Oscar history.
you have Minari, you have uh, oh,
You have Minari.
you have Minari, and just a side note, when I saw that the movie was named Parasite, much like Spotlight, I thought it was about me.
And how there are so many boy parasites in your life. Parasites.
Oh, parasites. Oh,
Parasites.
oh, are you from Brooklyn? No, you're Sir Sharon from Brooklyn.
I'm
Got
such
a
a
lot of
then.
got a lot of
I
parasites.
I had potato stew on the way to the ride to America, and then I got the shits because of it.
And then I had an I had an intestinal parasite. There you go. I love it.
All right. Fear to Queer, Parasite winning Best Picture.
Parasite. I queer it. I
I queer it
screamed.
too.
I was so excited. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
was
was
gonna say it was.
shocked.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think that's one of the few times that the Oscars like really shocked me, other than Olivia Colman winning Best Actress. I was like, whoa!
Like it what's interesting with Olivia Colman winning Best Actress, I was like excited, happy for her. But this I was like, yes. Like
Yeah,
the happiness was just boom through the roof for me.
yeah, exactly. All right. Well, we made it through 10 of the Best Picture winners in the past 10
Right.
years. Let's rank them really quickly and then get off this damn episode because I'm sure people are tired of us already. All
They're
right.
like no more movie. Well, what they have to do is they gotta go watch the movies if they haven't watched them. So go do
Exactly.
that.
Go do that.
Even the movies we don't like it. Yeah, go do that. What
By
are
the
you doing
time
right
that
now?
I was gonna say, the amount of time that you spend watching this episode, you could have watched like 3 of these movies at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
Or not. I don't
Or
know.
not. I don't know. All right. At number 10, where do you have ranked?
I have Green Book at number 10.
Okay. I have The Artist ranked at number 10 because that's the one movie I didn't see, and I just have to be fair.
You are awarding a black and white film. Josh.
I know. Canceled.
Canceled. Black and white films canceled.
Yeah. All right. Number 9, I had Green Book.
Number 9, I had Argo.
Oh, okay.
Well, because like
No, that's fine. You said what you said.
I said what I said. It's Who Should Go Home Tonight. Argo.
Yeah. All right. Number 8, what did you have?
The Artist.
Okay, I had The King's Speech.
Okay.
Okay, I said what I said. All right, number
You said what
7.
you
What
said.
did you have?
Number 7, I have The King's Speech.
You said what you said.
I said what I said. What do you have for number 7?
I have Argo at number 7. Lucky
Oh,
number
look.
7.
Literally, our like 7, 8, 9, 10 are just like, it's just the hodgepodge of all of them put
Right,
together.
just the
So,
mediocre ones put together. Yeah.
oh, okay.
All right, number 6. What do you have?
Number 6, I have 12 Years a Slave.
Okay. I have Birdman.
Okay. So 12 Years a Slave, I put there.
I was gonna say I'm kind of curious about that one.
Well, why did I put 12 Years a Slave at number 6?
Is it because 12 is divisible by 6?
Insert math lady meme.
Yeah,
But I put it there because I was thinking more of it, like it deserved to win. But when it comes down to like the enjoyment I had watching it,
oh, that's a 0.
yeah, wasn't super high.
If we're going by like
and-
what we enjoyed watching, 12 Years a Slave is number 10.
well, it somehow Green Book is still number 10 for me. No, but but it also like I was also kind of going based off of how the Academy awards certain pictures and like how they award Black trauma.
Mhm.
So I was like, it's number 6 for me. It's still
Okay.
a fantastic film.
No, that's you said
It's
what
still
you
great.
said.
I said
You
what
said
I
what
said.
you said, America.
Watch it with the children.
Yeah. All right, number 5. I have.
Yeah, it just clicked for you. You went.
I was like, oh. Number 5. I have The Shape of Water.
Okay. Number 5, I have Spotlight.
Okay.
Because fuck the Catholic Church.
That is true. Fuck the Catholic Church. At number 4, what did you have?
Number 4, I had Birdman.
Okay. And number 4, I actually had Spotlight. So
there you go.
Pretty similar.
So a little similar.
Yep. All right. Number 3, I had 12 Years a Slave.
Number 3, I had The Shape of Water.
The Shape of Water. Aw, that's cute.
Right? Because it kind of goes into like I actually kind of enjoyed the film.
Yeah.
So I'm awarding it based on I actually enjoyed it.
Likability factor, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have again the same final 2.
Same
just like
final
we always
2.
do.
we well, it's funny because I think that either we agree on a lot or it's a universal truth that our opinions are also universal truths.
I was gonna say we're just the vessels that spill out the truth, and people just interpret it as it is, which is
beautiful.
The gospel.
The gospel. Oh, according to Josh.
Yeah.
Is there a book of Joshua?
No, he was. I don't know.
I think he. Hold on. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Hold the horse till I get on. We had to memorize the books of the Bible, and that was a way that my mom helped me memorize. Or Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua. Joshua. Yep. Joshua, Judges, Ruth. 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings, 1st and 2nd Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Songs, Isaiah. Is it Jeremiah, Lamentation, is Ezekiel, Daniel, Zechariah, Haggai, Zephaniah, Malachi? Boom!
Spend out those rhymes there.
Let me just say, for all of you Lutheran school teachers out there that definitely aren't watching me right now, where's my A in religion? I'm just saying.
They're like, you didn't show up for class. That's why you didn't get any. All right. So our final
I'm like triggered.
So we both have Moonlight and Parasite as our top 2.
And
we're going to reveal our number 1 pick for Best Picture of the 2010s. Are we ready?
Yes.
All right. In 3, 2, 1. Moonlight. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I kind of figured it would be a really hard argument to try to knock Moonlight down from number 1. I could maybe see Parasite. Like,
I almost put Parasite. I almost did.
But like, it's pretty interesting that the top 2 movies that we have, like eschew the normal narrative of what wins Best Picture winners. So.
Oh yeah, Parasite definitely made it to the top for me because it is just perfectly made. But Moonlight took number 1 just because it's a little bit more enjoyable in an emotional standpoint than Parasite.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to walk away with some warm, fuzzy feelings.
There's like a little bit of hope at the end of Moonlight.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of hope in the end of Parasite, but
but that's little. That's like
it's very little. It is a
it's like,
speck.
yeah.
It's real
All
tiny.
Right. Well, this was fun. We ranked the best supporting actresses of the best 10 years. We ranked the best actresses of the best 10 years. We ranked the best pictures of the best 10 years. And next week, we're going to end our Oscars month by predicting what's going to win at the 93rd Academy Awards, hosted by Zoom.
I was not expecting you to say hosted by Zoom. But hosted by Zoom. In my head, I went, who the fuck is Zoom?
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Zoomafoo?
Hear that boom, boom, boom. I don't know.
Come on and Zoom, come on and Zoom. Anyone else have PBS kids when they were younger? Come on and Zoom, 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 Zoom. Hey! Did you watch that?
I did. I always wanted to be a Zoom kid growing up.
Same. I was like Zoom kid or Disney Channel kid, and I got zilch. Yeah.
Right. You got like put in a like costume contest at your local mall at best.
I could have been the chubby white kid who's like, but instead, no. I was just the chubby white kid on the local stages.
You're just a chubby white kid who's co-hosting a podcast.
Call me out. Say what it is.
Said what I said.
I said what I said. You're a chubby white kid hosting a podcast.
All right, Kyle, where can people find us?
You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Fear the Queer Podcast. You can also listen to us, and you may be listening to us right now on Spotify, SoundCloud, or Apple Podcast. Or you can watch our cute little adorable faces on YouTube. Now, Josh, what do people want to contact us? What should they do?
Slide right into the DMs here, but just make sure that it's a spit's worth of lube before you do it.
Put a spit's worth of lube and then just slide right in.
It'll be so cozy inside.
Oh my god. Control your breathing. We'll control our breathing.
Yeah.
You come right in. Hey. Well, hey, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, what? I mean, just what? What'd you say?
Yeah.
I said what? Are we? A spit's worth.
A spit's worth, yes. And as always, I'm Josh.
And I'm Kyle.
And we're Fear the
Queer.
Oh, the music is cutting us off already.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even start my speech. Well, I'd like to thank my God and my mom and my dad and myself.
Yourself?
Yeah, because I wouldn't be here if I wasn't me.